If you clicked on this video expecting some deeper discussion on the topic, you will be disappointed. I'm mostly just going to complain because I feel like I'm going insane. First off, let me do the boring video essay thing of reading off the definition of the topic at hand. According to the Britannica Dictionary, revisionism is the support of ideas and beliefs that differ from and try to change accepted ideas and beliefs, especially in a way that is seen as wrong or dishonest. For the purposes of this video, it's people changing their mind without admitting it. Revisionism can be a more serious topic if it's like history being rewritten. That's not what I'm gonna talk about though. It's the revision of online opinion, mainly Twitter. The entire site is built on rage bait, and what gets your blood boiling more than someone talking shit about your favorite game, pretending it's always been ass? Many of the examples I'll give have no real life correlation with sales or whatever. It's just vocal minorities on social media looking for a banger zeet. But it still drives me up a wall, and that's why I'm making this video. You can have a differing opinion without being so smug about it and actually have a basis for your claim. No, it's soulless is not a valid argument. Before I get into the actual examples, let me lay some ground rules. To count as revisionism for me, the quality of the example can't have degraded. So yes, the decline of the MCU and Game of Thrones have soured the taste of those franchises for many and inspired them to pretend that they never liked them. I don't really know if that counts for this video. So no fall-offs, capiche? Now, let's get into this. I'll state how the public perception of the subject has changed, as well as my opinion on it, to see if I agree with the masses. Basically, every single game in the Pokémon franchise has been subjected to some form of revisionism. Hi guys, welcome to my TED Talk. I'll get the big one out first. Pokémon. Basically, every single game in the Pokémon franchise has been subjected to some form of revisionism. Gen 5 is the biggest example of this. Those games were hated for basically a full decade, and now they're commonly seen as the best games in the franchise. What spurred on this change, I have no clue, and don't care, but what I do know is that I got caught up in the revisionism. I never played Gen 5 before then. I grew up on Pokémon YouTubers repeating the same points of boo-hoo Garbodor, so of course I had a disdain for the games. But after actually playing Y2, yeah, that game's goated. Anyway, next one, Gen 4. Diamond, Pearl and Platinum have gone from being seen as the peak of the franchise to just being mid. Which isn't far enough for me. I've tried to play Platinum like 5 times, but that game's so unbelievably slow and boring. I think Gen 6 is on the cusp of being revised. People have been kinder to X and Y recently from what I've seen. If Gen 8 ever gets its time in the sun, I will kill it. Those games suck so much ass, and I don't think I could handle seeing them praised. But please do it for Gen 7. I love Sun and Moon and people unjustly hate on them. Enough about Pokémon. Next up we have Persona, or more specifically, Persona 5. A universally beloved game, just look at these scores. But if you say that you like that game on Twitter, they'll put you down like a dog. Because it's the most popular game in the franchise, people think they'll seem uncool if they say that they enjoyed it. Sure, the story isn't flawless, and it's a bit easy, but the gameplay is so unbelievably smooth and the design is fantastic. But even saying that will get you shot in the street. P3R is suffering the same fate right now because it's recent and popular. Apparently, because it's a common opinion, it's wrong. Even the very centrist take of P3 has the best story, P4 has the best cast, and P5 has the best gameplay, has gotten multiple people bullied off the site. Persona Twitter is a psych ward. This one hurt. I love Tales of the Kingdom so much. Even though the story has some holes, it's so much fun to play. So seeing it go from Game of the Year frontrunner to divisive at best hurt last year. Does it really matter that the marketing was misleading in terms of the Sky Islands, or that the vehicles don't feel like Zelda, if the game is a blast to play and a technical marvel? Spider-Man fans online are not sane. Even though I don't interact with them, I always see discourse about the latest suit or whatever. But that doesn't matter here. No, the history being revised is about the Insomniac games. They apparently are bad. Because this specific Spider-Man hasn't fought his rogues gallery in the usual order and that his suits are high-tech, the games suck. Albeit I haven't played 2 yet, which is what spurred on this shift. 1 and Miles Morales felt so good to play. Speaking of Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is nowadays a fantastic piece of cinema. Why? Well, because of 4K gifs on Twitter that Andrew Garfield showed up in No Way Home. We truly live in a time of all time. No amount of propaganda will make me like the prequels, but I guess I'm the exception. I can see an argument for episode 3, doesn't mean I like the movie. Clone Wars does everything it tries to do a lot better. 1 and 2 are utter dogshit without redemption. I think people went from ironically loving this film to doing so unironically, but I can't do that, I'm sorry. Gotta throw this one in since I like Chainsaw Man a normal amount. People did not agree with me, however, during the beginning of part 2. Its switching main characters, slower pacing, and being slightly more grounded meant that CSM had fallen off. I can't speak from personal experience, I caught up around chapter 137, but from what I can tell, it's the weekly release that made the pacing unbearable for many. But after rereading the volume releases, a lot of them have come around to that being the peak of the series, and that the current arc sucks ass. Chainsaw Man is always under some sort of reverse recency bias curse. I think it's really good, and have always been really good. The current arc will be regarded as peak in a year, just you wait. This was written around chapter 165, that is being recorded around chapter 167. I may have been wrong, we'll see. The oldest example I can think of in the modern day. Back in 2017, Minecraft was seen as only for kids after being beloved by everyone up until the Microsoft buyout. Come 2018, people start liking it again because of 1.13 and a YouTube revival. Then it became bad again during 2021 because of the Dream SMP, before resurfacing as good again after the server collapsed. Oh wait, this just in, it's bad again. Being the biggest game on the planet does that, I guess. Me personally, I think it's fine. I respect it, but it gets boring fast, and it's always been like that, though I used to be more in denial about it. Fortnite has recently made a surprising upturn in public opinion. Started off as hated, as it was seen as being only for annoying children, but as those kids get older, it's improving its image. I don't really play shooters, but I think Fortnite as a concept is really funny. Though I'll admit I used to be caught up in hate train because I was 12 when the Battle Royale came out, and chronically online. The last one I'll bring up is the biggest concept. All the previous one have been a single franchise or piece of media, but this is an entire medium. Anime. Gone from being the most nerdy thing you could watch to being normal and almost cool. I think it was because of the pandemic that people had an enormous amount of free time left over and decided to give it a shot. Not that I was any different. I started watching in July 2020. Yeah, I'd seen Pokémon and Spirited Away beforehand, but I watched JoJo's that month, and since then, my consumption has skyrocketed. After my little stunt last year, I don't really put anything else on. It's become my standard. So yeah, I got caught up in this one too. I was an avid anime hater beforehand, yet again, due to me watching too many commentary YouTubers reacting to cringe anime fans.
That's enough. Overall, revisionism is neither good or bad, it just happens. Sure, it's maddening when something you like gets trashed by everyone, or vice versa, but it's also nice when people start liking something you've always enjoyed. But it's okay to admit that your opinion has changed. You don't need to pretend to have always been on the right side of history. Like what you want without trying to appeal to others. Unless it's harmful, I guess. Shit, I reached a deeper conclusion. I said I wouldn't do that. Anyway, bye.